when you look at, say, out of 25 of these soft skill competencies or people skill competencies, when you compare across the leadership team, what's everybody's top 7 traits? As far as their competencies, what are they good at? Sometimes you would be very surprised to see consistent themes that run through, and it's almost like a thread that runs through the whole team, that you end up with a team that's really good at these 2 or 3 things. And what is really awesome about that, and it gets me excited, is when the kind of light bulbs come on in people's faces, and they're like, wow, oh, I didn't know that about so and so, and they realize this person is amazing at project management, but we don't have them working on projects. Or this person is really good with delegating, or this person is really good with whatever the skill is. Now that we've identified it, let's put, kind of like Jim Collins said, the right people in the right seats in the bus. Let's arrange some of the tasks so they're doing what they're best at, and maybe not have them doing the tasks that are, some of their lowest competencies. And so that right there, like I said, just kind of, squirrel moment, to kind of really get off topic. That is super cool to see the light bulbs go off when people realize the skill competencies.
Well, Dave, a real basic example of this would be, let's take a Major League Baseball team. Now, you notice that in that business, and it is a business, you have specific people who play specific positions. You have a second baseman who plays second base. Rarely will they switch over to third base or another infield position. That's their position. Outfielders, they're going to play their best position in the outfield. The pitcher, you don't see many pitchers doing designated hitting. That's just how it works, all right? So where we're going with this is that they've got it figured out. They're going to use the talents of their people in the positions that they're best suited for. That's what we're trying to do with our clients.
Yeah, and that's all it is. Just trying to identify it. And when you're looking at it from a job perspective, and same thing, I'll continue to have the go off track. But when you're looking at it from a job perspective, one of the best stories I've ever heard, one of the best analogies I ever heard was, think of you in a helicopter, and you're looking down on the interstate, and you see 2 red cars going on the interstate at 70 miles an hour, right?
Yes.
No big deal. You're like, all right, 2 red cars. So what's the deal? They're both, say the job is driving on the interstate 70 miles an hour. That's the job. So I see 2 red cars. Okay, 2 people in the same position, right? They're both doing the job. I don't see the problem. They're both doing the job. So who cares? But when you zoom in and you look, maybe you look underneath the hood type of thing, but when you zoom in, you realize that the 2 cars, you've got one little red Volkswagen Beetle and one red Porsche.
Okay.
Now, let me ask you a question. They're both doing the job. They're both driving exactly 70 miles an hour, the speed limit. Okay. But that little red Volkswagen is screaming. It is taxing. It is at its max. I mean, I'm not talking about like a new Volkswagen. I'm talking about the old original, like magnesium block engine VWs from back in the day.
That 70 miles an hour is fast.
70 miles an hour, that thing is screaming. It is barely able to keep up. It is stressed. That is all it can do, right? That Porsche is just not even going to start it. I mean, it's just chilling. It's like 70 is nothing. I could do a $140 and on the Autobahn and not even blink. And when you're looking at people and their performance in their jobs, like, yeah, 2 people might be able to do the same job, but is that what they're really best at? And how much are they having to adapt, and how much stress is it putting on them in those particular jobs?
That's right. Well, think about it. If we got people on our team that are not in the best role that's suited for them, do you think that's going to limit our overall potential as a company to increase our profits? Yes. We're working harder. We're working harder, and we're getting less results with that approach. So, yes.
When you want to up it to the next level, and you've got the same 2 cars, I'm going to say that the VW doesn't have much more to give. It's pretty much spent out. You might get it to 75, and it's like, all right, I'm done. But you need to get up to 90. All right, guess what? That Porsche is going to be there and still have plenty to spare.
Yes.
And so that's what you're trying to look for with this. And so what we do with this critical alignment workshop is we give the assessment suite that goes with the behaviors and these driving forces and their soft skill competencies, but break it into 3 sections. A behavioral portion of it where we really get down into be able to identify and appreciate, say, your behavioral style. Because like you said, there's not one good or bad style. I mean, I've seen so many places, well, if you're not this particular type of personality or behavioral style or whatever you want to call it, that, this is the good one and everything else is kind of, subservient to that, or just, not the best. And that's not true, because we're all a mixture of these different things to certain degrees.
That's right.
And to me, if you can identify and appreciate your own behavioral style, and hey, this is just how I do things, kind of how on my temperament is, how I'm wired. And then that leads into the next part about being able to really identify and appreciate the behavioral styles of others. Because when you can learn about other behavioral styles as far as and your own, then you can learn to adapt your behavior. And that's what really creates superior performance. And I'm not talking about being inauthentic, right? I'm just talking about being able to meet them where they're at.
That's right.
Being empathetic.
I mean, think about it, Dave. That makes a great leader, because he or she now recognizes the talents that their people have, individual people have, and they're able to put them in the positions, or to give them the type of assignments that are going to allow them to tap that potential. And it makes the leader look good, because they've got people performing at an optimal level.